Shalom, welcome to our Parsha share. It's Parsha's Kisavoy Tafshin Pei Dalad, getting to the end of the year. And I want to just concentrate on the klalas, which are also called the tochochos. And I'm going to say the chiddush immediately because I couldn't believe it when I saw it and I realized that I literally fell off my chair. The pasuk says, "Lo sisna es achicha." Don't hate your bilvavecha. Don't hate your brother in your heart. Hoiheoich toichioich es amisecha. Yeah, give him toichocha. Lo sisa alav chait, and don't whatever that means. Don't take on yourself a chait. The loshon hoicheach toichiach. What's the shorish of the word to give tochocha? The word it's spelt hoicheach is hey vav chaf ches, yeah, chaf ches. Toichiach is taf vav chaf yud ches. The word means to give someone koyach. That's the grammar of the word. The actual word means to encourage someone. That's what toichocha is. Moedik. It's not rebuke. Doesn't mean rebuke. That's not the right translation. It means to encourage someone. It means to give them koyach. That is what toichocha is. Yitzi, you hear that? If there's like a little hammer behind you, to get out of the thing, I would.
Yeah, no. Thumbs up. Give him strength.
That is what toichocha is. Toichocha means to give someone koyach. So I just want now you might say to me, so what's with the 98 klalas of this parsha? He goes on and on and on, and there's going to be turmoil, and there's going to be a plague, and you're going to get consumed, and you're going to be thirsty, and the sword's going to schmeiss you, and you're going to perish, and they're going to chase you, and you're going to lose all your moisture, and the beasts of the earth, and the hemorrhoids, and bewilderment, and over and over and over and over and over. So that's not very encouraging. So what's pshat? So I think you can say like this. It's like if you don't pay the electric bill, the electricity gets cut off. That's it, as simple as that. Now I could just say to you, look, if you don't pay the electricity bill, the electricity is going to get cut off. And you're like, okay. By the way, I have Michael here. Michael, just show your faces so people are watching. So I have Michael. Is usually on the screen, but today we have exclusives and notices as well. But the ramifications of the chashmal getting turned off is almost endless. So I could just say to you, the chashmal is going to get turned off, and you'll be like, okay, I hear that. But lav dafka, that means you're going to run with that in your mind and think of the ramifications of that. So it's really Hashem giving. See, all he's saying is, if you don't listen to my voice, and this is the panemius of tochocha that Hashem says. If you don't listen to the voice of Hashem your God, to Moshe says this, if you're not going to do his mitzvahs and to guard them, etc., and his chukim, that I command you today, and they're all going to catch up with you. You're going to have all this bayot. But really, what he's saying is, there's one thing happens when we're not shomer Torah mitzvahs, and we don't listen to the koil of Hashem, which means the voice of Hashem, which means to actually listen to Hashem himself. It's like the chashmal gets cut off. And that doesn't mean, if Hashem just said, fine, the life force of the world is not gonna be coming down to you. That takes a real chochem to sit there and now plug it in. Well, what does that mean? How does that work out? What are the ramifications of that? So the tochochas are basically, this is what that looks like. You have this tremendous privilege in that you're Bnei Yisrael, And the life force that comes down into this world is dependent on your behavior. That's a tremendous responsibility and privilege. If the life force, and this world needs to be, if the life force doesn't come down into this world, this is what that's going to look like. There's going to be etc., 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 etc. So the goal is not that it's this evil man giving us more and more bayot. That's not the case, bichlal. He's just enumerating the ramifications of the divine life force pouring into this world. This is what that's going to look like. And it goes on and on. And the truth is, the list doesn't end at 98 colors. That's just he stops there. But it will manifest as endless problems. And all it is the same thing, is the life force that is meant to be flowing into this world gets cut off, because we are the ones who are the point of connection between creator and creation. And if that point of connection between creator and creation, which is called Am Yisrael, which is Knesset Yisrael, which is called the Shechina Kadosha, if that part of the system stops listening to the voice of God, then it just there's nothing happens, and it can't be like that. So the system is kind of rigged, if you want to say it, or set up in a way that when we don't listen to the voice of God, what happens? All this stuff happens to us. What does that do? That breaks our ego, that breaks our own sense of self-importance and of our own godliness, and we will eventually fall into line, Bezrat Hashem. So the system is there, it's the ramifications, and it's the ticket at the same time. And that's exactly how it goes. And that's why when Hashem teaches us that mitzvah of toichacha, which he is also chayiv him, it says like this: Lo sis es achicha belvavacha. Don't hate your brother in your heart. Hoi heach toichiach es amisecha. And then straight away he says, Lo sikoim v'lo sitoi es b'nei emecha. Do not take revenge and don't bear a grudge. That's the whole point. See, you could very easily fall into the thought of all these tochachas are a kind of revenge-dicka thing. But the whole inyan of tochacha is it's not a revenge. The whole inyan of tochacha is empowering the other person. And that's why that if the person's not going to be makabel, you don't say anything. Because it's about empowering the other person. That's exactly the inyan of tochacha. So I just want to finish. I know it's a quick share today, but I've had a hard day, and this is the share. So to finish off, where's my Tanya? Oh, sure. Thank you. So the Tanya says in Perek 20, in Perek Lamed Vav, Lamed Beis, Leiv, which is the mitzvah of Yehavterecha Kamoicha. Yeah. The irony is that when you speak to the Kanoim, or people who are very stark on Am Yisrael, they bring the raya for their starkheit and for their hatred from this chapter. The chapter of loving your fellow Jew as yourself, they use it to show that you can hate another Jew. Why? Because he says like this. He says, love your fellow Jew, and if he does stuff bad, then you need to hate him. And you have to tell your Rav that he brings them ki mitzvah it gives you prayer. If you have to give tochacha to someone, it has to be that he's at the same level of you in Torah mitzvahs, meaning he's been learning where you've been learning, whatever. So it means he's like holding where you are. He's not lower than you in his religious observance. Yeah. And then he says, and then even if that's the case, then you have to give him, you have to, firstly, that's very rarely the case, that the guy's going to be at the same place as you are in your avodas Hashem, and he had the same learning opportunities as you did. And if that is the case, then you do have to give him tochacha, yeah, if he's going to be makabel. But then he says at the end, now the problem is, once you're giving someone, if you have to hate the person, yeah, what does that mean? You have to, and so people say it means you have to hate what he does, which is bad, and love him, that's a good start. But really now what's happened is you've turned the person into qualities. There's two parts to the person. So the eights that the Rebbe gives is really you should what's the word, Miss Oira? You should awaken in yourself Rahmanas on his situation. The fact that he's caught up in bad stuff, that's a Rahmanas. He's in pain. A man who's hurting people is hurt. Yeah, a man who is caught up, who is not able to live his life by Torah and mitzvahs, he's in pain. And that means his neshama is in like a prison, so to speak, in jail. And then you have to have Rahmanas on him. And that will awaken in you a love for him, and then it will be kulu love. That's basically what the Baal Tanya says in Perek Lamed Gimel, the way that I've understood it and the way that I've been makabel for my Rebbe. Then he, at the end, in brackets, he says like this, is a very side point, V'loi ama David HaMelech, Tachlis sina sinaisim, with an utter hatred, I hate them, Ella al haminim ve'apikorsim, except for the heretics. She'elam chelek Elokai Yisrael, K'de'is v'gmor, etc. So it comes across at the end of the whole thing, it says that's fine. But if he's mamash, a min, and an apikoros, then you can hate him, not with just a hatred, with the tachlis, with an ultimate utter hatred. But this is the problem. The problem is you need to read what the pasuk says in Tehillim and the pasuk after. The pasuk says like this: Tachlis sina sinaisim, with an utter hatred, I hate them. L'oivim holy, and they are my enemies. The ones who hate Yerushalayim are my enemies. Then he says, Chalkeni eil v'da, examine my heart, v'chaneni v'da sa'arpai, and test and know my thoughts. The only person who is qualified to hate another Jew is David HaMelech. The only person who can turn around to Abon Sholem and say, search my heart, examine and know my heart, and test my thoughts. Yeah? If that's the case, and you find me to be mamash tahor, yeah, then you are in the position to hate other Yidden. None of us are in that position. Meaning that as a regular person, yeah, even as a very elevated person, but as somebody who's not David HaMelech, any hatred that there is towards another Jew for any reason is not going to be coming from a divine love. It's going to be coming from some kind of human lacking. And that's osa. So that's why the pasuk says that the mitzvah of toichocha is not revenge and bearing a grudge. It can't be revenge and bearing a grudge. The mitzvah toichocha, and this is the point of the shir, the mitzvah toichocha is to give koyach to another yid. Ach v'rak. And if you see that he's not going to be makabel that, then be quiet. No need to say it. To give the other koyach. Zvat Hashem, we should be zeicha to give ourselves koyach and to give all other Yidden koyach and to help Hashem in his avodas hakodesh. Zvat Hashem.